The strangest courtroom scene as Nicole Westmoreland, one of Diddy's defense attorneys, is crying in court. She is pulling out all the stops, painting this glowing picture of this amazing 55-year-old businessman who has done so much good. So much good. He has very positively touched more lives than the courtroom could ever hear. Yes, that's a direct quote. He's helped and taught others throughout his career in the music industry. And yes, she's crying. Crocodile tears as she speaks of his career and how he made a positive impact on the Black community with his music-centric cable and media company, Revolt, that focused on Black culture, focused on social justice, and it gave Black journalists the opportunity to have a voice on multiple networks as she fights through tears. This was one of Mr. Combs' missions, to show his community that they are important, that the issues affecting the Black community are important. Did it reach you? Did it reach you? I don't know if Miss Westmoreland is an attorney or a B-list actress, but girl, we're not believing a word you're saying.
Diddy has been officially sentenced to 50 months in prison, which brings the Diddy trial to a close. So let me know. Do you think justice was served, or do you think Diddy should do more time?
Before Friday's sentencing, his accusers submitted victim impact statements to the judge, which also urged him to hand down a hefty sentence. Cassie, who, as we know, was the prosecution's star witness, wrote that she is so terrified of retaliation from Diddy that she moved her family out of New York and is keeping as quiet and private as possible. Diddy's former assistant Capricorn Clark wrote that it's, quote, insane to me that of all the things that people heard, 2 counts of prostitution of men is the only thing that remains on the table. She wrote to Judge Subramanian that, quote, the last ray of light is that you provide justice to us. You have a chance to finally help him know that he cannot just do what he wants to people. There are repercussions and consequences. He cannot just destroy other people's lives.
Cassie, you not being haunted, you don't got no nightmares, because a lot of that shit you wanted to do too, and it was proven. That's why he was proven not guilty of those charges. And for you to write the judge and say you want this man to get 11 years, this man does not even qualify for 11 years, because the federal government, they don't work like that. They go by a category system. Diddy is in a category 1. He has like very minute charges. If this man was in the state court, this man would have been out and probably on some probation or something. He will not have to go through no sentencing and all this and all that. This is ridiculous. And the fact that you just carrying it on and on and on and on and on lets us know that you are bitter about Carisha. It looks like you upset because Carisha got the life that you wanted. And it looks like a lot of y'all women that were in a situation with Diddy that was allowing him to do these things to y'all is upset because he did not do those things to Carisha. You can't be mad about that. The best woman won. You just can't. Y'all know what to do. Get in the comments. Let's go. But Cassie, let it go. Leave that man alone. You going on about your life. You got your children, your husband, and everybody else. You done already embarrassed the man. You done embarrassed yourself. But y'all know what to do. Let's go.
Diddy trial update part 3. Diddy has been sentenced. He has been sentenced to 50 months. That's like 4 years. But the time he already served is going to count in that. So he got like 3 years in federal prison. Do y'all think that's good enough? Do you think the judge made the right decision? Leave it in the comments.
4 years. Sean P. Diddy, Freak Daddy Combs, is going to prison for 4 years. Now, there are those who believe that 4 years was entirely too much, that he should have been acquitted, or that he should have got time served. There are those that believe that 4 years is just the right amount of time, and there are those that yet believe that 4 years is nowhere near enough. I'm not really too concerned with how long he's going to prison. I will say this, I do believe that the system worked exactly like it was supposed to. He committed acts which were violative of the law. He was criminally charged, right? The charges that could not be supported by the evidence were dismissed. The charges that could be supported by the evidence remain. The prosecution put on their case. The defense put on their case. The jurors heard the evidence, they weighed the evidence, and they rendered a verdict. The judge heard appeals, believed that the prosecution ran a clean trial. There was no reason to dismiss the case or to overturn the verdict. And then the judge, following the sentencing guidelines, rendered their sentencing. Now, that right there is a fair trial. You know, do we like the result all the time? Not if we're on the receiving end or if we're going to prison. But if you run a clean trial, you know, and nobody is doing anything unethical, and the evidence supports the charges, and the jury does their job, it is what it is. You know, next time keep the freakiness at bay, and you won't go to prison.
We have breaking news right now. Minutes ago, Diddy has been sentenced by a federal judge to 50 months in federal prison for violations of the Mann Act. He was previously acquitted of the most serious charges in his case, the racketeering charge along with the sex trafficking charges. But now he has been sentenced to 50 months in prison, which is akin to about 4 years in federal prison. Prosecutors asked for a lot more. They asked for 135 months. Defense attorneys asked for a lot less. They asked for Diddy to be walked out of the courthouse a free man today, just 14 months incarcerated. Well, here's the thing. Diddy has already served about a year or so for time served, so that'll account to the sentence. He will only actually serve about 3 years or so. That also doesn't include any good time credit he could earn in federal prison. Theoretically, Diddy could be out in just 2 or so years. More to come soon. As always, spread the word. Full breakdown on my Substack, linked in bio. Subscribe for free. Follow along for all the news you need to know about. More to come very soon.
Diddy just got sentenced to 50 months in prison, right? Just over 4 years. And this, of course, after last year, even though he was acquitted of the most serious charges that he was facing, like sex trafficking and racketeering, he was convicted of transportation to engage in prostitution. So he had his legal team asking for him to be sentenced to just 14 months, which included the year he's already been in jail, which would make it just over time served, and he'd be out by the end of the year. With Diddy even writing a letter to the judge yesterday asking for mercy and saying, "I lost my way, I got lost in my journey, lost in the drugs and the excess. My downfall was rooted in my selfishness. I have been humbled and broken to my core," and saying the old me died in jail and a new version of me was reborn. Prison will change you or kill you. I choose to live. Today, I humbly ask you for another chance to be a better father, another chance to be a better son, another chance to be a better leader in my community, and another chance to live a better life. Though that is, you had prosecutors saying they wanted Diddy behind bars for 11 years, arguing that he's unrepentant. And one claiming he's even booked speaking appearances for as soon as next week and calling that the height of hubris. You also had Cassie, his ex-girlfriend, who was a key witness in the trial, writing a letter saying that if Diddy gets to walk free, she's concerned for her own safety, and saying, as much progress as I have made in recovering from his abuse, I remain very much afraid of what he is capable of and the malice he undoubtedly harbors towards me for having the bravery to tell the truth. And to the end, you had the judge landing in the middle, saying 14 months wasn't sufficient, 11 years wasn't necessary, but he needed a sentence that showed both abusers and victims alike that exploitation and violence against women is met with real accountability. So let me know your thoughts. And
guys, the judge has sentenced Diddy to 50 months. That's just over 4 years. That's a lot longer than what he wanted. He was asking for 14 months, which is essentially time served inside the MDC. His defense got up. They spoke about the fact that there's been an attempted shanking of him in jail, that he's repentive, that he's a changed man. His children spoke. It was extremely emotional. His daughters, Delilah, one of the twins, saying, you know, we don't want our little sister to grow up fatherless the way that we've grown up motherless, but Judge Subramaniam said it needed to be a substantial sentence to reflect the severity of the crime. He said that he had irreparably harmed 2 women, and he asked why did the conduct go on so long, because he had the time, the money and the resources for it to do so. And that's the sentence that he's handed down. Now we're going to wait to see if they appeal, and of course wait to see if Donald Trump comes in and pardons this, which he can do, and we're going to go and record the podcast with all the details, so I'll let you know what's going on after that. But yes, 50 months, not 11 years, not 20 years, not 14 months, 50 months.
In about 4 years, y'all better start hiding the baby oil. It's official. Diddy just got sentenced to 50 months in prison. That's a little over 4 years. Now, he's already served 13 months in prison, so I believe he's going to get credited with time served. His legal team was trying to get the sentencing down to 14 months in total, but the judge said that was too low, so they gave him 50 months. Also, a lot of people were hoping that he would get the max up to 20 years, but the judge said he saw no reason to sentence him for the maximum of 20 years. What do y'all think about this? Because the way how this first started out, when Diddy initially got arrested, I don't believe that most people thought that his sentencing would have been this low. With how the feds raided his house in the beginning, with all the evidence they gathered, everybody was saying that Diddy was done, that he was never going to see the light of day again. So I think this is a shock to a lot of people that pretty much in about 3 to 4 years, Diddy's going to be back on the streets.
Sean P. Diddy Combs has just been sentenced to 50 months in prison. And this is substantially less than the 11 years sought by prosecutors, but substantially more than the 14 months sought by his defense team. In terms of the prosecution guidelines, it's towards the upper end, I think. But let's not forget some things that I think are very vital. One, he will inevitably appeal. He will appeal both the sentence and he will appeal the conviction itself. He's already filed that appeal. It was denied, so he's got appeal grounds. Two, he has said, and I don't think it's controversial, he will seek a pardon, a presidential pardon for this conduct. So this is not the end of this situation. The judge's sentencing remarks talked about the seriousness of the offense, talked about the subjugation, talked about the trauma, and his team talked about the fact he's a changed man. He was addicted to substances at the time. He wasn't in his right mind. So this is the end of this chapter, but it's the start of the next chapter. I think we will not be hearing the end of this for some time. Obviously, I think he'd be disappointed. The prosecutors are probably quite, not over the moon, but it's a good sentence for them. So I think it'll be a very interesting thing to see what happens in the immediate future.
Sean Diddy Combs has just been sentenced to 50 months in jail, 50. That's a little bit over 4 years. I'm outside of Manhattan Courthouse. There's a big crowd here. Some people think that 4 years is a little too long. Others think that it's not enough. The judge just handed down the sentencing at the end of the day on Friday, and this comes after Diddy himself spoke up and begged for mercy and begged to go home to his children and his mother.
What the fuck you mean Diddy only got sentenced to 4 years in prison? Like, I kid you not, my weird uncle who grabbed my balls when I was like 5 years old literally got like 50 fucking years, bro, and you telling me Diddy only got 4 years? Nigga, I damn near got sentenced the same thing just for cheating on an exam in college. The fuck you mean 4 years? They gave that nigga a slap on the wrist. If I did the same thing, bro, that would be 2 decades, I'm telling you, bro. Like, this just goes to show you can really do whatever you want when you're rich. And the crazy part is, like, if he's good in jail and he doesn't do nothing wrong and he's showing like signs of improvement, bro, he's gonna get out like in 2 years max. And I can't believe I see people celebrating right now, bro. They talking about, yes, just 4 years, he's gonna be out soon. The fuck you mean, yes? Yo, like, there's no way this nigga still has fans. But now it's honestly crazy. Like, am I reading that right? 4 years, or do you mean 4 life sentences? Because the shit that he did, bro, I watched the whole documentary, bro, and it's just like, bro, people who do tax evasions literally get 20 years, bro, and this nigga's getting 4 years. This world is honestly doomed, to be honest, bro. Like, this is just rich privilege all over again, bro. I think Bill Cosby is also up in there for the same thing, but way longer, bro. It's crazy, bro. But let me know what y'all think in the comments, bro. Y'all think 4 years is the amount of time that he needs? Y'all think he needs more years? Tell me down right now how many years y'all think he deserves, bro, because 4 years, low-key, is crazy. Like, real shit, bro, that's a slap on the wrist, bro. That's like, right there, that's a fucking slap on the wrist.
So here's what Diddy said to try to get out of prison, which didn't really work, obviously, because he was still sentenced to 4 years and 2 months with a $500,000 fine. But he tried to tell the judge that he was a changed man. He called his own behavior disgusting, shameful, and sick, and said one of the hardest things he's ever had to handle was being quiet this whole time and not being able to say how sorry he was. He said the truth is he was sick, and that he's not just this larger-than-life person, but a human being who got lost in excess, lost in his own ego. That he would never put his hands on another person again, and even cried, apologizing to his mom, who was there in court, by the way, saying that he knows that he failed her as a son and that he knows she raised him better than this. And if you're black, he says he realizes he let you down too. He says he realizes he let down the entire black community who he was trying to serve. But most of all, he says he lost his self-respect and that he feels like this was really fueled by him doing substances, but that he was rehabilitated after these 13 months in jail and he asked for mercy. In fact, he said if prosecutors were trying to make an example of him, what about the example of what a person can do if they were given another chance? His defense team wanted him to be sentenced to no more than 14 months, which would basically be him getting time served, and he'd get let out. Now, prosecutors wanted him to get sentenced to 11 years in prison and felt like Diddy wasn't actually sorry. And part of that is probably because Diddy allegedly already scheduled a speaking engagement or teaching engagement next week, as if he just knew he was getting out. But his defense team said, that was just him trying to show the kinds of things he would do if he was let out. But ultimately, the judge said that the evidence of abuse in those freak-offs and hotel stays was massive. But he also could have given Diddy a lot more time. So what do you think? Do you think he was let off easy? Do you think that he should have just gotten out? Because I do know the people are split on him. Some people feel like that man is guilty as sin itself, and other people feel like he's innocent and being set up here. So let me know what you think. Like these updates, help and follow for more news.
So you've seen it now that Diddy has been granted or he has been sentenced to 4 years in prison. Finally, just 4 years. Honestly, I was part of those people who thought he was going to get life imprisonment because of everything that he has done. But then, who am I? We are just spectators. We're watching what is happening. But the thing is, if you ask me to say what is my own take on this issue, I'll tell you that justice was not served. To be honest, justice was not served. Diddy was meant to stay there for at least 20 years. Me hearing that he's been granted just 4 years only, I'm like, what the hell? It means every other person can do this and just go and stay there for 4 years, because as we speak, he has stayed there for over a year. That means he's going to stay there for 2 years plus or 3 years, and then he's out. Not even up to. It means the justice system in America is flawed. It's very flawed. Now, we're not going to say because he is American or because he is black, we shouldn't seek for justice. This guy has done really worse things, and he deserves to rot there. He has done horrible things. I watched the videos and I saw his family coming out of court and they're looking like, and I'm like, can you imagine? These people are not even remorseful. They're not remorseful at all. In court, his kids were even begging on his behalf, pleading that their father is a changed man already. You can imagine. When they cannot even tolerate or bear what their father has done to people. Do you know what it means to be abused? Do you know what it means for someone to have issues that's going to do with trafficking, abusing even young boys, sodomizing them, and he just left for just 4 years. And I don't know how this is done, but he should be grateful. Then, if they ask me, why is R. Kelly still there? What has R. Kelly done? R. Kelly did not even do half of what this person did. But look at the sentence. What is happening? What is going on? I want to know. Please, can somebody tell me what is going on in the comment section? Because looking at this thing, it's flawed, to be honest. I don't know what to say. It's flawed anyways, but then it's fine. He's lucky. That is what I'll say, but I feel justice is crying somewhere, and justice should be served, to be honest, right? Do not forget to subscribe, like, share these videos to people. I want to hear opinions in the comment section. I want to hear, what do you think? Why is R. Kelly still there and this person is coming out in just few months or few years? Why is R. Kelly's own different, right? I'll see.